Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The masla we're going to do today, just muted there, some sounds coming through. The masla we're going to do today, outwardly, it doesn't seem like a very relevant masla. But if you discuss this masla, it is loaded. It is loaded with so many usul that we can benefit from. You know, it exposes the whole workings of the Hanafi madhab, and it exposes um, many of the usul. So just before we actually start the actual masla, I just want to give you a brief intro to the masla. Here, the masla is about making wudu what nabidhu tamar, what the juice of a date. So remember, what the Arabs, there wasn't so much fruit they would have. Like how we take, fruit and we juice it and then you get a juice that comes from there. So what they would do is they would soak in the water dates, or they would soak in the water grapes, etc. Then some of the color and some of the flavor or some of the sweetness of the date, some of the sweetness of the grapes would go into the water, and they would drink this as a beverage. This would be like an refreshment for them. It will be sweet, it will be colorful, etc. Right? So the masla here is, if you've got nabis tamar, the juice of a date, but it hasn't reached that level where it becomes intoxicating. Remember, if this thing is left, it ferments, and like yeast ferments, it eventually becomes intoxicating. It becomes intoxicating. So here we're still speaking about the thin type of nabis that hasn't become thick and it hasn't become intoxicating as yet. Can you make wudu with that or not? Can you make wudu with that or not? So can you make wudu with that or not? Okay, let's see. Bismillah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فإنه يجب إلا نبيذ التمر قال أبو حنيفة رحمه الله عليه يتوضأ به ولا Right, interesting masla. So, see, فَإِن لَمْ يَجِدْ إِلَّا نَبِيذَ التَّمَرِ. A person only had nabidh tamar, right? He had the water that has been flavored with the dates, and he doesn't have any other water with him, or maybe he had water but it got lost or it got spilled, whatever. Can he make wudu with this? قال أبو حنيفة رحمه الله تعالى يتوضأ به, right, ولا يتيمم. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala says he will make wudu with it and he will not make tayammum. In other words, remember the previous masala, we spoke about the leftover water of which a donkey or a mule drank. We said there, because the proofs are contradictory, right? We don't know, is it park or is it clean or whatever, or is it tahir or is it mutahir, whatever. So we're not sure because the dalail are contradictory. What you said, what will you do? We will make both wudu and we'll make tayammum, right? So yeah, Imam Hanifa is quite certain. He said, no, it is permissible to make wudu with this nabis, right? And why? لحديثة ليلة الجن. Okay, كان لحديث ليلة الجن. Read that there. توضع. Right. So what's our proof to say that if you got this nabir, you make wudu? It says, فَإِنَّ النَّبِيَّ صلى الله عليه وسلم توضأ به حين لم يجد الماء. That on Laylatul Jinn means the night he went to invite the jinnah towards Islam. Right? Right? توضأ به. When he requested water, there was no water. There was only the nabir. So I asked Ibn Mas'ud. So he made wudu with it, right? And right, توضأ به حين لم يجد, when not find water, right? And he did not make tayammum with it. So that shows you, according to Nabi Sallallahu, it is fine. You can make wudu with Nabi Tamar. Carry on reading. Right. وقال أبو يوسف يتيمم ولا يتوضأ. According to, so if you understand this properly, you understand, according to Imam Yusuf, this is not water at all. It's not water. So يتيمم, he'll make wudu, يتيمم ولا يتوضأ, and he will not make wudu. So if you're smart, if you remember we said when water comes out of this hukum of water, it's changed to such an extent that you don't refer to as water at all. Remember? And remember we discussed this. We say if the additive has two qualities, smell and taste, and just one quality in the water change, it is not water. If the additive, the thing you're adding, has three qualities and then two qualities change, you will not consider it to be water anymore. Remember? So exact same thing here. Exact same thing here. According to Imam Yusuf, that's it, because its color has changed, its smell has changed, its taste has changed. It is not water anymore. So it's like you're sitting with a bottle of Coke and you got no water. What will he say? But you make wudu with the Coke? No. We'll say you must make tayammum. So same thing, you understood that. So according to Imam Yusuf, basically in simple words, it is not water anymore. So you will have to just make a tayammum. Right? As I said, from this masail, it lays bare many of the usul of the Hanafi madhab. We will discuss it as we go along, right? Right. So, وهو رواية عن أبي حنيفة. This is also a riwayat of Imam Hanifa that you will make tayammum and you will not make, but it's not the main riwayat. The main riwayat is in the text there, right? Carry on. Right. And with this, that you must make tayammum and you must not make wudu, right? Amalan, so Wabi قال الشافعي amalan بآية التيمم, and make amal of the ayat. What's the ayat of tayammum? You say, فإن لم تجد الماء فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا. If you not find any water, then make tayammum. If you not find water, then make tayammum. Right. Amalan bisaw. So he's saying, look here, this is not the water. So you make, right. So basically what you have, you got the hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying that you can use the Nabis for wudu. And you got the Quran is saying, look here, if you don't find water, you must make tayammum. So ultimately, it seems like there's a contradiction between the hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and there's a contradiction between the verse of the Quran. Right? Carry on. Yeah. So what we're saying here, as Imam Shafi is reasoning is this. He say, look here, this the verse is stronger than the hadith. The verse is stronger than the hadith. The verse, we know a verse for Quran is mutawatir, and this hadith at most is mashhur. It's not a mutawatir hadith. So we'll give preference to the hadith, the verse. لأنها أقوى. The verse is stronger, right? So you see what one usul you learn there, according to Imam Yusuf. When you got a mashhur hadith and you got a verse of the Quran and the two are contradictory, you give preference to what? You give preference to the verse, right? Then, أو هو منسوخ بها. Or he says that the hadith has been abrogated by what? By the verse. Why? لأنها مدنية ولن يجني كانت مكية. Interesting. See, I told you, you have to know chronological order of things. Okay, look here, Laylatul Jinn took place in Makkah because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam invited the jinn to Islam in Makkah, right? And this verse, if you look at the history of this verse, this is a Madani verse. So it means the verse is saying if you don't find water, you have to make tayammum. This came after. This came after the Laylatul Jinn. So at that point in time, maybe perhaps it was permissible to make tayammum with Nabis, but once the verse of tayammum is it's abrogated him. See there, right? لأن مدنية ولد الجن كان مكيد. Right, carry on. Ah, so Imam Muhammad says يتوضأ به وتيمم. He say so if you're smart, you already catch up. He's going the same route like the leftover of the himar, like the leftover of the bakhal. That yeah, the proofs are contradictory. So you will make wudu and you will make the tayammum. Why? So he's saying, see, لأن في الحديث اضطرابا. You done this before. That in the hadith is istirab. What does istirab mean? You done this in the Surah Hadith. When there is too much confusion, we're not sure what is happening. That there's some different narrators narrating the same hadith, and they're all narrating it with different words, and it seems to be contradictory. Like all the different riwayats are not making sense. Are you with me? And with regards to the time, so this is dirab, if you remember, is also one of the reasons why a hadith is downgraded from being sahih to da'if. Like different riwayats say different things. The riwayat outwardly seem contradictory. The time when it was revealed or when it happened, the Shan and Uzur is contradictory, etc., etc. So that's the first thing you say. Look here, the hadith itself is contradictory, right? لأن في الحديث اضطرابا, right? وفي التاريخ جهالة. And when did this happen exactly? Did it happen before the verse or after the verse? We're not sure. Why is saying? He's saying that even before the verse was revealed, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam invited the jinn in Makkah and also in Medina also. He invited the jinn. So we're not sure if this, which is nasikh and which is mansukh. If the hadith, remember we discussed this also according to Hanafi madhab, you can make nas of a verse of the Quran with a mashhur hadith. Right? So is the hadith nasikh? Is it abrogating the verse? Or is the verse abrogating the hadith? We are not sure at all. We are not sure at all. And we're not sure. We don't know what to go, which way to go. So similar, like in the leftover of the Baghal and Himar, we were not sure which way to go. So we said, make tayammum and make wudu. Right? Are you with me? So فَوَجَبَ الْجَمْعُ احْتِيَاطًا. So together between the two will be better. Make wudu. So if so you are safe. If it is considered to be water, then you made wudu. If it's not water, then you made tayammum to cover yourself. You understand what I'm saying? This is similar to the Shafi madhab. You know, the Shafi madhab, something like goes something like this. I don't know the exact details, but sometimes you make Juma and you make Juma and you make Zohar. You know what? There's one guy over city, I won't mention names. So they opened a madrasa on a farm just outside PE somewhere. So he asked me, the Masla, he said, can we make Juma or not? I told him, according to my understanding, you can't make Juma, right? Right? So he took fatwas from the other muftis. The other mufti said, no, you can make Juma. So we went to meet him. I said, oh yeah, so now, you asked me that Masla. He said, you know what we do? We make Juma and we make Juma and make Zohar after. So I started laughing. I said, oh, you do like the Shafis do now. You do Juma and you do Juma and you do Zohar after them because you're not sure. So if your Juma is valid, alhamdulillah, your Juma is done. And if your Juma is not valid, you make Zohar. But I don't know if it's applicable in that circumstances, to be honest with you. Because according to me, I told him, no, you have to make Zohar. You can't make Juma. You are in a peri-urban area. It's not exactly part of the town. It's out the outskirts of the town. And plus, when I saw the place, I said, no, no, I'm convinced there's no Jumaya, brother. There's no Jumaya. But anyway, he was doing this. He was doing Jama, Bail, and Jum. He was had a good laugh after he saw that one. Anyway, So فوجب الجمع احتياطا. So now remember I told you in the Hanafi madhab is on the fatwa is on Imam Hanifa's opinion. In most of ibadat, I told Mashaib yesterday, and in most of taharat, the fatwa is on whose call? On Imam Hanifa's call. That's why you see Saib Hidaayah is always pushing Imam Hanifa's call, and he's going to answer the objection. He say, remember what was the original masla in the matan? It was that if it is nabiz, if it is thin, it is self-flowable and is not intoxicating, then you can make wudu. And I explained to you this thing many times. Right. So Imam Abu Hanifa, what he's saying is this here. He say, look here, he say that I told you, if you look at our school books, you can add to the Quran with a mashhur hadith. So if the Quran is saying something, giving a particular meaning, you can use a mashhur hadith to add with that. So when the Quran says, you will not find water, but there's a mashhur hadith that says, if you find a beer tamar, you can make wudu. So we say, obviously, when I say add to the Quran, I mean you won't read the part of the Quran, but you can add to the hukam of the Quran. You know what I'm saying? Water and you not find a beer tamar, then you have to make tayammum, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's coming there. First objection, they said, the opposition said, no, Laylatul Jinn was in Makkah, and the verse was revealed in Medina, right? So that means the verse is nasikh and the hadith is mansukh. We say, قُلْنَا Laylatul Jinn كانت غير واحدة. It is on record that there wasn't one Laylatul Jinn. There are several Laylatul Jinns. There was Laylatul Jinn in Makkah. Nabi Sallallahu visited the Jinn in Makkah, invited him to Islam, and he invited him to Islam in Medina as well. So Laylatul not only one. So you cannot say definitely say that the ayat is nasikh and the verse is mansukh. Are you with me? That's the first thing. كل ليلة الجن كان غير واحد فلا يصح دعوى النصر. So there to say this is that one falls through the math. Then I told you, according to us, you can take a mashhur hadith. You remember you get khabri mutawatir, you get khabri ahad on the other side, right? And khabri ahad can either be mashhur, could be aziz or harib. Remember, mashhur means it's like few people, 4, 5, 6 different chain of narrators, but not so much that it cannot be believed they conspire to lie. Remember, you got it? Right. So we say, wal hadith al mashhur amirat bihi as sahabatu. If you look at mashhur hadith, the Sahaba Ikram, they practice on mashhur hadith all the time. There's no doubt. And this is a mashhur hadith, so why can't we practice? And then, I told you, this whole text is loaded with usul. This whole text is loaded with usul. Maybe the masla will not be so relevant, but so many usul learning. وبمثله يزار الكتاب, and with mashhur hadith, you can add extra meaning to the Quran. But remember, I'm not saying you're going to read this and make the Quran extra. It means understanding a masala of the Quran. You understood that? وَبِمِثْلِهِ يُزَادُ عَلَى الْكِتَابِ. Right? Now, okay, so we understood that the preferred opinion according to the Hanafi madhab is that uh, you can make wudu. Now, what about ghusl? وأما الاغتسال فقد قيل يجوز عنده اعتبارا بالوضوء. As for ghusl, it is said that, remember I told you when you get qila, then also it means what? It shows it's a weak opinion, right? Yeah. Right. Right. فقد قيل, it is said that you can also make wudu ghusl with it. وأما الاغتسال به فقد قيل يجوز اعتبارا بالوضوء, making qiyas upon wudu, right? وقيل لا يجوز لأنه فوقه. So you can't, because look here, he's saying ghusl is it's a greater type of hadath. It is hadath al-akbar. What is it? It is hadath al-akbar. So because it's a greater type of hadath, it is different to wudu. So then there's another usul I mentioned to you. When something is established contrary to logic, it will be restricted to that instance. I'll give you a simple example to understand this. Look here, we know from Monday to Friday is madrasa, right? Or say Monday to Thursday is madrasa from 8 o'clock till 1:30. So one day I came to you and said, today, Wednesday, there's no madrasa. So next week, Wednesday, can you come and say, no, Mufti said last week, Wednesday, no madrasa started. No, you won't. Why? Because that one day of no madrasa was established contrary to logic. So it will be restricted to that instance. That's what I'm saying. So it will be restricted to that instance. You won't extend it. So same thing, if you look at Nabir, it is out of the hukam of water. So logically, we're not supposed to use it for wudu. But because there's a strong hadith, we are forced to accept it. But because it has been proven contrary to logic, we were restricted to that instance. You understand what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'll give you another example. Your father gives you 10 rand spending every day. So one day, Wednesday, gave you 100 rand. Now tomorrow, you say, Daddy, you gave me 100 rand. He said, you must give me 100 rand. He said, no, your default ruling is 10 rand a day. Yesterday, I was feeling lucky. I was feeling happy. I gave you 100 rand. So when something established contrary to logic, it remains to that, it is restricted to that instant. It is restricted to that instant. It is not extended to instances beyond that. Are you with me? So that's what we're saying. That is, to make wudu or to gain taharat. I'm going to come sort out there now. Right? So when something is proven contrary to logic, it will be restricted that. So it was only proven contrary to logic that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam made wudu what Nabis, right? It's not proven. It's proven contrary to logic that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam made wudu. So we cannot extend it to ghusl as well. Are you with me? So we say also ghusl is a higher, it's a hadath akbar. والنبيذ المختلف فيه أن يكون حلوا رقيقا يصير أعضاء كالماء. And the nabis we're talking about here, where there's ikhtilaf, that Imam Hanifa said you can use it, right? It refers to, okay, go quick. It refers to that nabis which is still flowable. It's sweet and it's not intoxicating. If it was thick, and was intoxicating, then there is unanimity according to all the Hanafi ulama. You can't make wudu with it. See there, right? See, all the madhabs. والنبيذ المختلف أن يكون حلو sweet رقيقا وstill viscous يصير أعضائك الماء. Right? وما اشتد منه صار حراما. That which become thick, frothy, right? After it ferments, right? That's obviously it is intoxicating, right? وما اشتد منها صار اسم حرام لا يجوز التوضع به. Not permissible to be make wudu with it. وإن غيرت النار فدا محلول على الخلاف. But if the fire changed it, in other words, even if it's still, even if it was cooked, right, and but it was cooked, but it never come thick, then still it will be the same ikhtilaf will exist between the two. That Imam Hanifa said you can make wudu with it. وإن خرج النار فما دام حلوا على الخلافين وإن اشتد فإن أبي حنيفة يجوز التوضؤ به لأنه لا يحل شربه عنده. Okay, I see time is up now. We just did last 2 3 lines. We'll do that tomorrow. We're gonna sort this classes out. The 3 lines we'll do tomorrow, and then we'll also start a new chapter, inshallah, the chapter of tayammum, inshallah, tomorrow. بس سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Maybe tomorrow your man Ishmael will come, I don't know.